So recently I've been doing quite a lot of coastal photography, which I love, and I suppose in many ways that kind of epitomises what my local area is all about, and I'll continue to do a lot of coastal photography as well. However, I still love my woodland, and a couple of weeks ago there, if you saw the video, I had a fantastic little morning adventure shooting a particular foggy woodland that had a whole carpet of wild garlic. It was a fantastic morning, but at the start of that video I said that I went around my local area hunting for bluebells, and that I found quite a promising woodland, regardless of the fact that there was no bluebells. And that's where you find me today, this said promising woodland. And yeah, I feel like a lot of my previous videos over the past 2 or 3 weeks, since some of the lockdown restrictions have been lifted here in the UK, have been quite manic and quite fast paced, you know, chasing the light, trying to capture beautiful sunsets and stuff like that, which I adore. You know, for me, in many ways, that's what it's all about. However, I love this calm side of it as well, coming to a local woodland with no expectations with your camera and just scouting around, seeing what you can find, you know, putting no pressure on yourself. If something jumps out, get the camera out and get it photographed. But yeah, this is a wonderful, wonderful little forest, and I do think it's got quite a lot of potential for photography as well. So I'm going to just hunt around, keep nice and chilled out. You never know what's going to happen. We might find something worth photographing. So come with me. So I'll tell you what, it is really nice to just chill out every once in a while and really just enjoy the process of landscape photography. Enjoy getting your tripod set up, taking your time, really thinking, you know, about composition and the subjects that you're photographing, rather than just reacting to the light, which is something that I always do. And like I said in the introduction, I love that. You know, that's my preferred style of landscape photography. You know, I'm not advising you to give that up. I'm just saying it's nice to have a little bit of variety with your landscape photography. And this is welcomed. So, as you can see, I'm set up for the first image of the day. And you know what? I'm quite happy with this. And in all honesty, I found this very quickly from after when I first spoke to you. So you can see here, like I so often do, I'm using the pathway here in this particular woodland just to lead the eye through this photograph and really give it a little bit of depth. So the path is obviously a prominent feature or element or even prominent subject that runs throughout this whole photograph. Perfect way for the audience's eye to be led through your photograph. It's one thing I definitely recommend. You know, if you struggle with woodland photography, I definitely do. Try and stick to the paths and actually use the paths within your photographs, exactly like I'm doing here. I think overall, I would actually probably advise you to do the opposite. Get off the path, see what you can find out in the middle of the woodland. But yeah, if you're struggling with composition, this is a really handy way to give you photographs a little bit of order, which, as I'm sure you all know, is something that's really difficult to achieve when you're in the woodland. So yeah, apart from the path, I've got these two sort of trees on the left and right hand side of my frame that are actually really helping to frame the image, which is fantastic. It means the eye continues to be led up this path and isn't getting distracted to the left or to the right. I've also got my camera in portrait orientation here as well for that very reason, just so there's no left-right distractions, there's no need for it. And you may be able to tell, yeah, see how I've angled my camera down there ever so slightly. That's just to make sure I don't really get any sky in the photograph at all, which is something that I want to subtract any sky from this composition, because it's just not gonna add anything at all. So I'm shooting at f11 ISO 100 and 1/3 of a second. I'm able to get it in one exposure. This is a fairly high dynamic range, but that's going to do. And I've focused manually probably about 1/3 into the image, and then f11 should give me a nice sharp photograph from front to back. Tell you what, this is pleasant. This is pleasant. So I just wanted to expand there briefly about what I was talking about before, about variety most of all. And I think over the past couple of years especially, I've really started to notice the importance of variety with regards to my landscape photography. And what I mean by that in this instance is basically just shooting different types of landscapes. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I have my preferences. My favourite landscapes to photograph, as I'm sure most of you guys know, are sort of mountainous areas or water side. I love shooting water sources in my foreground, that sort of thing. But that's really closely followed by, coastal photography and woodland photography as well. And, if you are the type of photographer that just sticks to your preferred type of landscape, I'd really urge you just to try something else. For me, it definitely helps to keep everything fresh, and 100% it really helps to keep me inspired for sure. So yeah, I guess that's my challenge to you. If you're the type of photographer that sticks to their preference, try and come out your comfort zone a little bit and photograph a landscape that might be otherwise quite unappealing or unfamiliar to you. Yeah, it definitely helps. So pretty happy with that last shot anyway, and I love this forest. I love this woodland. It is a beauty. So I'm going to keep wandering around and see if I can find something else worth photographing. So let's crack on. this is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I've probably been in this woodland now for a good couple of hours, just relaxing, honestly relaxing, wandering around, just taking it all in. I honestly think that sometimes that's quite an important part of landscape photography that I might miss out on sometimes, because I'm so excitable, you know, and I'm chasing beautiful sunrises and sunsets, and you know, sometimes I know it's a fact because it happens. Sometimes I don't take the time to stop, you know, put the camera down and just enjoy my surroundings, and that's one thing that is just mint about woodland photography. Absolutely class. Something else that I've realised that's just like top draw about shooting shooting in woodlands is how many options you have at your disposal. You know, there must be an infinite amount of compositions available just in this woodland, and that's never ever going to change. You know, which is fantastic in so many ways. It means, you know, you don't have to always go out on big hikes to get decent photographs. It means, providing there's a woodland close to where you live, it means you don't have to go on big drives to get to nice places. In my opinion, you can get better photographs in the middle of the day in the woodland as opposed to being on the side of a mountain or something like that. Just brilliant. So I have come off the paths a little bit, just to try and find, I wanted to try and find a little bit of a scene that didn't include a path, and just to challenge myself a little bit more, if anything. And I found this beautiful fallen tree here, obviously dead, and you can see it's been stripped, or it has been stripped of a lot of its bark, which is pretty much going to be in the foreground of my shot. I think it's super interesting. Loads of beautiful textures and contrasts here. Absolutely awesome. And then because it's a fallen tree, of course, it just sort of acts as a nice little leading line, really. Leads us off into the background, where we just so happen to have some nice soft diffused light coming through. It was forecast rain and pretty much just overcast skies today, which is one big reason why I wanted to come to the woodland, to try and use that light to my advantage. But there's been quite a few breaks in the clouds and it's been sunny quite often. So I'm going to grab this one really, just while I can. So I'm shooting at ISO 100, f14, and I'm getting a 1 second exposure. So it shows you, you know, in the woodland it can get quite dark. I was going to focus stack because this area of the tree here is really close to my lens in the foreground, but shooting at f14, it's going to be fine. I'm not too bothered. But yeah, really nice subject, and definitely something a bit different in comparison to my last photograph. Really enjoying today. Completely different scene to what I'm used to, you know, just chilled out, relaxed, taking it slow. Most importantly, taking it all in. Brilliant. So I think this will be another nice photograph. Oh, one more thing that I want to mention before I show you it. There looks like there's a little bit of rope halfway down this tree, and I guess there was perhaps an old rope swing on it or something. That will be getting photoshopped out, just in case you're wondering where it's disappeared to. So brilliant, absolutely wonderful. What an enjoyable little adventure in a stunning woodland, really, that is so close to my home, and I'll be returning. So I hope you enjoyed today's more mellow video, let's say. There'll probably be a few more of them because it makes me feel good. Really nice. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you want to get my top 5 tips on composition in landscape photography, be sure to sign up to my newsletter. All that information is in the video description below. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please comment below, I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I shall see you on Sunday. Out!